A warm welcome to all of you, and thank you for inviting me to share my learnings and experiences. We are all here to learn from each other, and what I'm trying to, will try to do is share something new with you, and what I'll take back from you after this 40-odd minutes is take something new from you here in questions which will be thought starters for me to carry back home. In fact, I'm so happy that the last session was so wonderful, where Drayton Bird talked about the various forms of marketing. There are two things which he mentioned, and you will hear that echo in my deck as well. The first is, as marketeers, our only job is to get more customers, more customers. That's how we make money. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's the best jingle any marketeer can hear. The second thing which he talked about, which is again, you will see that theme running through in my presentation, is the scientific approach to marketing. So these are the two things which I picked up from him, and you will hear this echoing around. When we look at marketing, things have changed so much. And what brings us together is looking at new things, the next generation way of reaching out to the customers. How I have structured my presentation for the next 30 minutes is, before I start talking to about what we have done, I owe to you, I need to explain to you why we have done this. So this is how the structure is. The first, I'm going to share with you a new generation, which we call the next generation marketing principle. Remember Drayton Bird's two principles. So one of them I'm going to highlight there. If we agree to that hypothesis, if we as marketeers believe in that principle, then what is going to be our going in market strategy as we sell our products into the market? How do we change our current way of doing things to the next generation way of doing things? And that starts off from there. The third and the most challenging aspect is, how do we make our team believe in this change? The most difficult thing when we do any new things in marketing is, how do we make our brand managers, how do we make our agency partners believe in this? Human inertia is the most difficult step in bringing about a change. That's what we want to do, and which are the two things which we need to change in our team. And finally, I will try to give an example of what we have done with our domain called Livinstyle.com. I represent an alcohol company called United Spirits, and now taken over by Diageo, the world's largest maker of alcohol, from Johnny Walker Blue to a bagpiper. So it straddles the entire spectrum of an audience. So this is how my structure is. So first, let me start off with the new generation principle. In marketing, we hear about a lot of buzzwords. Content marketing is growing right now. There's big data, there is buzz marketing, there is viral marketing. But let's pull back for a moment and see what are these theories telling us. And I'm trying to puncture and relook at one of the age-old theorems which has been taught to us. One of the things which we have all grown up with is the 80-20 principle. Anybody knows what an 80-20 principle is? It says, yeah, 20% of the customers give you 80% of the revenue, right? What does this behavior say? Focus on your 20%, right? This is not working in this new age. And there is scientific evidence. I follow a guy called Byron Sharp, who's the director of Edinburgh Bass Institute, which Dittenberg mentioned, and they've done tons and tons of research data to show that this is actually a marketing fallacy. This ain't true anymore. They've crossed CPG industries, across IT industries. This is not happening. What is happening is this. It is 50-50. 50% of your loyal customers give you only 50% of your top lines. The remaining 50% come from huge amount of unaccounted light buyers and non-buyers who only buy your category once in a year. But as marketing guys, we only tend to focus on our heavy buyers. Our media advertising is skewed towards heavy buyers. What we choose to ignore is these light buyers who are spread across. Now that's the principle which we believe in. And we have started to change our marketing principles, our media buys, our creatives basis this principle. How do we attract the light buyers? Recruit and re-recruit the light buyers into the category. Recruit the non-buyers into the category. And that's what Dayton Bird told us today. Our only job is to get customers, more customers. That's how we make money. So if we believe in this principle that our only job, the way we do creatives, the way we do media amplification, the way we choose channels is to recruit the light buyers of our category or brands, then what do we need to do? And Byron Sharp said it very well. And I really like this quote. Our customers are customers of other brands who occasionally buy our brands. Let me do a quick poll. How many of you travel by more than 2 airlines? Most, right? Nobody sticks to one airline. How many of you think Indigo is one of the best airlines in the country? Right? Do they have a loyalty program? No. Still, they are the ones which are making profits. Because when you do loyalty programs, it is catered to your heavy buyers. The underlying principle is buy more, I will reward you more. But the New Age principle, as told by Byron Sharp Institute, and what we have done is we tested this principle through neuroscience and exhaustive data. And we said that yes, when consumers go to a bar, they don't decide which brand of alcohol to drink. They have a choice of either a vodka or a whiskey or a particular brand, and they make the choice there. So they work within a repertoire of brands, so which we call the repertoire drinking. Marketing job is to cater to repertoire customers and not to the loyal customers. So what we did, we collapsed all our loyalty programs. This is how we're going to do it. So there are two basic strategic intent which we have documented across the globe. Across the globe, brand managers for any brand, whether Johnnie Walker Blue Label to a popular whiskey, work on two basic principles. One, win in search, and explain to you. And the second is do sophisticated mass targeting rather than niche targeting and niche marketing, and explain to you what this means is. And for both of these, in the intercept of these conflict of these two strategic pillars is content. Content becomes the heart and soul of taking these two pillars on. And that's why it's very critical. Win in search. Traditional marketing says if a person, let's say, is searching for Smirnoff, you need to be there and start talking to him. That's what traditional marketing says. What we said is if the person is searching for Smirnoff or he already likes my page in Facebook, he is already predisposed towards my brand. He is most likely to be my loyal or a predisposed consumer. I need not target to him. My marketing dollars need to go for the light buyers. So there are 4 of them which we said. People might search parties in Delhi, nightlife in Delhi. If he's in that mode, how can we influence him when he starts his buying journey with our brands? The second level of search criteria, it could be sports bars in Delhi or lounges in Delhi. In this second situation, the consumer has decided what kind of experience he wants, and therefore he's just choosing that he's wanting to see which are the best sports bars. Can one of my brands, which is interested in sports, be plugged in there through content? The third, if he's not, he can be pretty specific. Okay, I want to know about restaurants in DLF Cyber City, is it? DLF Cyber City. So in the consumer's mind, he has chosen which area he wants to go, but he needs help in choosing which restaurants he wants to go or what kind of experience he wants to go. This to us are all light buyers. And we wanted to reach out to them and attract, as Mr. Bird said, more and more customers. If we don't do that, sales will start dominating our creative process. The sales head will come and say, okay, this is what I want. The Lucknow branch had said, well, this shot of your TVC is not good, please make this change. The IT guy is going to come and says, boss, these tools are not our IT tools, let me automate your marketing process. And finally, there's going to be a CEO on the top who is going to say, boss, next month, please cut down your marketing budget. Here's I'm guardrailing it, because unless we meet the Q4 targets, you're not going to get that money. We have experienced this before. And that's happening because the sales impact is not there of our marketing. The problem is, when we talk about content, we all realize this, is how do we traditionally define content? Is release our TVC, the 30-second ad into your YouTube channel on your Facebook, and you believe that consumers are going to really lap it up. That ain't working. That is not content. Worse still, the agency comes and says, making of the TVC, we'll put it on YouTube channel. That is also not going to work for you anymore. That's not content. Consumers are not interested in that content. We've all experienced it in our social media feeds. There are 1,500 news feeds which come into your Facebook channel every day. Every day, 1,500 comes in from your friends, friends of friends. The only one which you are interested in is the little red button. That's the one which you click the first. That's the notification, because it is contextual and it is relevant to you. Right? Content has to be that. If a person is searching sports bar in Delhi, he is not at all thinking alcohol. He is not at all thinking alcohol. He's a light buyer, he's thinking an experience. Need to be there, tell him a suggestion, what is the best sports bar in Delhi, and then seed in your content how your alcohol can influence you. Biggest problem happens because as marketing guys, we only think product, product, and product. One way of calling it is pimping. But the light buyers are somewhere there where they're not even interested in what you're talking about. Because he is not even thinking product. He's thinking of personal experience, and I, as a brand, need to be there. What ideally, the graph, the Venn diagram, if I need to look at it, it should be this. As product managers, we have certain areas of interest. Light buyers have their own interest areas. And then there is a confluence in the middle which both of us are interested in. For example, parties and nightlife in Delhi. Light buyers are interested in that, and we are interested in that, because if you are searching for parties in Delhi, then 1 in 10 chance that you will have an alcohol in your party. Or if you're choosing a lounge to hang around, 3 out of 10 that you will drink an alcohol. 30% of India drinks alcohol. So 3 out of 10 chance that you're going to drink an alcohol. And then can I give a choice of my catalog to you? Let's look at one of the examples of Smirnoff, one of the biggest global brands which we have. Okay? Traditionally, when we do the Smirnoff brand positioning and what need states we do, Smirnoff is in the release state. It's all about party, it's all about youth, it's all about glamour, nightlife, fun, which we call the release needs. So Smirnoff is all about that. The traditional advertising model will say, talk about alcohol. In India, it's a media dark, we can't even talk about alcohol, but traditionally that will be. But if consumer is looking for that release and open up state, alcohol is only one of the choices which he has. It is not the only choice. But if you look from a product manager's lens, he only sees it from that choice, from that lens. The new age marketing principle of light buyers and non-buyers is that he might have a choice, listening to music, hanging around with close friends, social media, generally surfing around, have a smoke, shopping, gaming, trips, vacation. There are multiple release options. Alcohol just happens to be one of those options. If you realize that, where the light buyers sit, it's in this quadrant. And in this segment of various modes of his taking out release, which are the ones which are at 1 degree closer to us? From here, we chose night outs and parties, which are closest to us. We chose listening to music, closer to us. Because if a person is listening to music or going to a pub and bar to listen to music or going to a music festival, chances are there will be alcohol in the social milieu. And these are the kind of things we looked into. So I've covered the principle, I've covered the two strategic intent of sophisticated mass marketing and win in search as our strategic pillars. The third, the most difficult, is making the change in our teams. To believe, don't focus your advertising on heavy buyers. Don't come on say, okay, let's do a loyalty program for our sales guys. Let's do a loyalty program for our key account guys. Look at it completely differently. The traditional advertising model said that if you had 12 spots to have, if you had money to run 12 spots, spend it in 1 week, create a burst, create a dhamaka. The new age marketing principle says if you have money to only do 12 spots, run it once a month for 12 months. Reach more light buyers, don't focus on heavy buyers, your loyal buyers. Because the loyal buyers will easily understand your advertising. TV will reach out to them easily. Content helps you to reach this large volume of mass buyers who are not even interested in your category, but you start influencing them so that tomorrow they become your customers. So the biggest challenge which we faced internally when we had these workshops with each one of our agency partners, with each one of our media house partners, saying that this is the principle which we want to believe in. And each one of our senior management, right from C-level, it went down. So this is how we are going to look at media approach. This is how we are going to look at creativity. And the biggest barrier we found, the people didn't want to change. And we changed that, and we are still in the process. It's a journey where a CEO gets involved, our marketing heads get involved in believing in this way of approaching media. So the brands look upon them as media houses. The managers, the brand managers, they are no more campaign managers. They are content producers. You have bursts of campaigns. You can't do 12 months of advertising, so there are periodic bursts of campaigns you do, but you keep your content engaged throughout the year. Throughout the year, you keep your content engaged to reach the light buyers. And the third, which we instill in our thing, the think like newsroom editors. If you see something happening which is there, which is people are talking about, create a content and seed that content in. For example, Roger Federer was in India for the ITPL tennis tournament. So we created multiple contents by bloggers, by expert writers, top 5 night out places Roger Federer must go while in Delhi. Seeded that content through channels like Outbrain across. People were interested to read that content. And each of this content, we said, if you go to this place A, one of the drinks you might like to try is Smirnoff, etc., etc. And that's how the brands get seeded in there. So what we did, I think the slide got messed up. This I've copied and pasted the original document, and 2 years back when we created this website called Livinstyle.com.
Don't you think there is a disconnect here? I mean, you gave the example of Indigo Airlines. Let me stretch that. You know, so Indigo Airlines is there, and I would prefer Indigo Airlines.
Yeah.
But since they do not have a loyalty program, you know, I may try it, let's say Vistara. You know, now that's the new airlines. So I may have at the back of my mind, why don't I try Vistara?
Yeah.
Whereas if Indigo has a loyalty program, I would say since Indigo has a loyalty program, I would not switch to a Vistara or to any other airlines for that matter. So, so what effectively you are saying is that don't focus too much on your loyal customers. Whereas what I feel is that if you don't focus on your loyal customers, since they are a light customer for the competition, you may end up losing them. So don't you think so? I mean,
no,
it's a dialogue.
I think that's an interesting question. I think I'm not saying that don't focus on your loyalty customers at all. They are important, but I'm saying look at the other set of the customers and how to reach out. Now let me try to answer your question. Your loyal customers are very much, if they are loyal, they are interested in you, right? And therefore your mass advertising of TV will reach out to them easily. They pick up those signals, and their encoding memory, encoding structures get strengthened when you do the TV advertising. The light buyers and non-buyers, which give you 50% of business, don't even get moved by the TV advertising. Therefore, you need to create another alternative system by which you reach out to the non-buyers. Look at any category, and the data disproves it. And Byron Sharp did that, and we did that with all our categories. We've heard people coming and said, "I am a vodka drinker. I am a beer drinker." It didn't work at all. There is not a single person who says, "I am only a vodka drinker." He will shift between categories. You look at your toothpaste. Are you only sticking to one brand, or you shift between 2 or 3 brands? You generally shift. You generally shift between a repertoire of brands. You generally shift between them. And that's happened. And Byron Sharp did that across 54 categories, and the mean was 54.4 of business coming from loyal customers. Yeah, of course. No, only cigarette. See, cigarette can be. Yeah, obviously. See, I'm not talking about outlier categories. I'm talking about broad marketing-based categories. I'm not talking about other. Look at insurance policies. Would you ask yourself, would you stick to only one brand of insurance? Are you open to 2 or 3 brands in your set? Yeah. So it's called the double, I don't want to get into the technicalities, or it's called the double jeopardy effect, which means your bigger brands, which he also mentioned, Mr. Bird, that will have more loyal buyers, right? And the smaller brands will have lesser buyers, which will be double of that. When you lose market share, the effect is much more. You know, that, and I'll tell you, that's the reason your TV advertising doesn't show any impact on your primaries or your secondaries or tertiaries. It doesn't show any impact because your light buyers are not getting affected by it. Therefore, it's over a longer term that TV advertising starts working. I've hardly seen a category where when you start doing a burst and the sales of the chips or the sales of the Dettol goes up in that week. It doesn't happen. Or at least we have not seen it happening.
Hi, I'm Priyanka from SGS India Private Limited.
Hi, Priyanka.
United Spirits happens to be one of my clients. Thank you for being our customer for a very long time to start
HDS.
with. SGS, we are Society General Lady Surveillance. It's a Swiss-based company. We do a lot of testing for you.
Yeah.
Whatever I've been hearing since morning is a lot talked in terms of the B2C space. Can we talk about content marketing in light of B2B space, because that's where I come from? So what if you were a consulting organization, or what if you are, dealing with businesses on the other hand, not the individual customers? Can content marketing work there? Should it be utilized? To what extent and how?
Okay, so, good question, but I'm afraid I'm not an expert authority on that.
I thought so. So I would leave this open for this forum, actually.
Yeah,
so anyone else sitting in this room who could be, yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Not a problem.
Yeah, I had a question.
Yep.
I think what you said makes immense sense. And would you think that because liquor as a category has had its own challenges in terms of being able to communicate very freely, it has managed to therefore go deeper and innovate and figure solutions, and you're therefore a convert. However, people may believe theoretically in what you're saying completely, but they remain fence-sitters, and that one question pops up immediately saying, ROI kya hoga?
Yeah.
मेरा click कम हो गया.
Right.
What happens? So, what becomes content communication, what becomes a sublime thought, when it comes to parameters of judging its effectiveness, boils down to pure marketing, pure advertising metrics.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How are you managing that?
Okay, so I have understood your question in two parts. One is being a liquor industry, and second is how do we measure ROI on the content marketing. You're absolutely right. Coming from a media dark industry, the challenges were far greater for us. And that, as you know, they say that necessity is the mother of all invention. It just put us to the wall. We can't show lovely hair, you know, silky shorts and Cadbury's and the chocolate and the milk falling and lovely Cadbury's. We can't do that. Wish we could do that. Imagine a product shot where we show a nice cut glass and 2 cubes of ice cubes and a beautiful amber scotch filling up. So appetizing. We can't do that. So we had to be forced to think. And how do we see the future? Is it going to, the relax of alcohol advertising going to ease in the future? No, it's not going to be. It's only going to get stricter and stricter. So how do we start preparing for the next stage? So that compelled us to think and innovate. We are looking at smart packaging, we are looking at IoTs and other things to ensure that we can engage with the consumer. The only place where we can engage with the consumer is only at a pub or a bar. Nowhere else I can touch him. Or it's a user-initiated action when he's searching parties in nightlife or romantic restaurants in Mumbai, open-air restaurants in Mumbai. Because it's Valentine's Day, I would like to do that. I need to be there. And I'll tell him, why don't you serve a Four Seasons wines there? And we'll have a Four Seasons wine promotion there. So that's one part of it. It did force us. The second is how do we impact ROI? And that's the reason we got in the partner outlets in here. When we do a content here and we drive clicks, we have the same promotion here. So if it is aired in Bombay and we are promoting the top 5 open-air restaurants in Bombay where you can get take your Valentine's too, we will have a Valentine's offer in that pub created for the pub. And we see how has it impacted the sales there. Plus from a monthly tracking, we have the BES scores where the brands are tracked on a monthly on 25 attributes. And we see that whether those BES scores are going up or down. That's from a brand equity point of view. If I'm not advertising in this particular month, by doing various things, how has it impacted my BES scores? That is from a brand equity point of view. The second is, all these 150 outlets will be tied up. When we create content, we have something on ground for the consumer at these outlets. And we measure the impact of these content advertising to 10 outlets which are not part of this ecosystem and 10 outlets where we have done this offer and promotions. How has the wine sales happened in these 2 outlets in these 2 weeks? Ultimately, it's top lines and bottom lines. There goes the hammer. Thank you very much. I know it breaks some of the stereotypes. My attempt is just to seed the thought and see where it goes. Thank you very much.